Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've been preparing the XK8 for the upcoming driving season, and unfortunately I found out that I will need a new battery. Instead of this being a quick and easy sort of in and out process, I actually ran into quite a few details that I suspect you may find interesting. So let's get into it and I'll show you what I mean. I do have a battery maintainer, and I've had this for all 3 years that I've owned the car. This setup has been in place all the time, have never had a problem. Now, at the moment, the battery maintainer is connected, it's showing green, and the battery itself is measuring, let's take a look, 13.58 volts. All right, so that looks okay. It should definitely be enough to start the car. But let me show you what I'm observing inside, and then we'll come back here. When I put the key in the ignition and give contact without trying to start the engine, a few things will happen. The fuel pump will prime, all of the electrical systems of the car are going to power up, like the ABS, the safety system, the airbags, all of these things. They're going to power up, report to the computer their state, and so on. And in addition, the headlights will turn on. Now, I'm going to do that. Keep an eye here on the battery charge indicator. There we go, so the dash lights up, and we are even below 13 volts right now. But let me try to move this closer and zoom in. And this is real time, I'm not speeding up the footage or anything here, but if you keep close eye on this, focus please. I think the camera is having some trouble focusing, but you can probably see how little by little the battery voltage is dropping. It is literally already below 12. There we go. And now it continues to drop. We're going to reach 11 volts. And now the headlights are on. You can probably see them there at the front into the garage door. Well, not anymore. I think we're basically out of, yeah, that's it. The battery is now all the way down to 9 volts. And there's barely any electricity left. The headlights went out. They used to be on. They're out right now. They're not working anymore. So what do we have here? First of all, the battery seems to be the wrong size. It is 80 amp hours and 800 measured cranking amps. Now, I believe you want these numbers to be roughly about 95 or 100 amp hours in terms of capacity, and at least 900 cold cranking amps. So this battery is definitely smaller or less capable than what the car needs or what the car expects. And despite that, keep in mind, the car has been running with it for over 5 years now. That's one thing. The other thing is, I think the poles are reversed. So this is the ground currently. You can see the ground wire here. And this is the positive. I think these have to be swapped. Like, they need to be the other way around. In addition to the specs not matching, the physical dimensions also don't match. If you take a look here, look at how much extra space there is lengthwise, right? In theory, this should all be filled up with battery here at the bottom. So the battery is definitely shorter, but that's not all of it. It's actually also higher than what it's supposed to be. And let me take this bolt out and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so what we have here, because the battery is physically higher than the proper specs, what has been done in the past, and I'm not sure if this is the previous owner or an owner before them, but they have lengthened the bolts And they've done that by welding an additional sort of piece of threaded metal here so that the bolts can reach and be able to clamp the battery. And this is done on both of the bolts, which basically means that now these bolts cannot be used to clamp a proper size battery once a proper size battery is put in, because they'll be too long. A few notes about the battery from the vehicle care book. In here you can see a few cautions which we should follow. I would say first, bring down your windows, at least partially, so that you can open and close the door after the battery is disconnected. After you bring your windows down, remove the key completely from the ignition. Just have it disconnected altogether. Don't have any contact in the ignition. And number three, when you actually get to disconnecting the battery itself, remove the negative terminal first. So I looked into the battery a bit more closely, the one that I took out, and it turns out that it is more than 2 times cheaper compared to the proper sized battery for the Jag. So this kind of explains why people have done what they've done here to accommodate the fitment of that battery for the vehicle. I personally wouldn't go that route. I would stick with the standard proper size battery, and that's what I'll be buying for here. Now, in the meantime, I was able to get this from a scrapyard. This is from an X308 XJ, and it's basically the boot clamp with new bolts. They look in great condition, and I hope that these bolts would be the proper length for the new battery. By the way, I'm also noticing that I don't have, or at least with the previous battery, there was no vent tube. The vent tube connects right there through that hole, and I am missing a vent tube. So we'll see if the new battery comes with a tube or not, and I may have to find something else that is non-standard but works in order to vent the battery. Well, it looks like the battery was manufactured in July of 2020. So that is actually less than 6 years ago. And realistically, the battery has probably been in the vehicle for about 5 years, roughly. So I was thinking, it's unusual for a battery to fail this drastically in just 5 years. And then I thought, you know what, I haven't checked the electrolyte. And when I opened it up, of course, there isn't much in there. There we go. It is pretty dry. So what I'm thinking of is I'll add some distilled water, try to charge the battery again, see if it will hold the charge. I understand probably damage has been done at this point, no doubt about it, to the internal structure and the plates, but maybe I can get another year out of it. We'll see. I'll try to charge it up with electrolyte, and then we'll go from there. Battery is charging very slowly. It's just on the maintainer, and the electrolyte is bubbling slowly. Well, we'll wait. We'll see how this goes. I'm actually curious now whether I could get some more life out of this. Well, no, not a chance. I charged the old battery up, did the same test as before, and instead of taking 10 to 15 seconds for the battery to completely drop, it took about 1.5 minutes. But again, way too short. Clearly the battery did not have much capacity left. And the mistake there is basically entirely mine, given that the old battery was constantly on a trickle charger or a battery maintainer. I should have been more proactively checking the level of electrolyte in the battery in order not to allow it to drop to this extent. So that's my mistake. maybe you can take this away. If you have that kind of battery in your vehicle, the old style lead acid with electrolyte, definitely make sure you check those cells and you make sure that the level is good. The new battery that I got is an AGM battery. So this battery is sealed. There's no electrolyte to maintain in here, no way to add anything. So this simplifies things a bit. This is a more sort of modern technology. It should last longer. I should have zero issues with this battery. Now, before I put this in the car, I want to mention a few things about AGM batteries in general. Now, most people may tell you they don't need to be vented or they're not vented. That's not entirely true. The battery would still vent if it overheats, if it overcharges, and a few other conditions. So it is not as important, but still I would recommend a vent tube for this battery, even though it doesn't need it as much as the older style lead acid batteries. One thing you would notice here is the red cap. Don't throw it away. This little piece here in the corner, okay, you break this off and it is meant to cap one of the two vent holes on the battery. There's one vent hole here on this side, you can see it, and one on the other side. So when you place the battery in the car, you would usually cap the hole that is further away from the vent outlet from the trunk, and you would leave the other hole open. That's where you would connect your vent tube. Again, it's not a must, but I would still recommend capping one of the holes and connecting a vent tube to your AGM battery. I will reposition the ground to face this way. This is just 10 millimeters. Let's turn it around. No need to over tighten. The positive is on this side. Now this cable is very long. I wonder if this is a sort of aftermarket as well. Maybe the original cable was not this long. I'm not sure. Maybe let me know what the state is in your cars, if your positive cable is indeed this long. But over here where it connects into the main fuse box, everything looks clean and original. So I don't know what to think of this. It won't be a problem, it just feels excessively long. Battery is pretty heavy, in fact marginally heavier than the same size lead acid battery. The AGM batteries are a little bit heavier, which is fine. It's not by a huge margin, but remember to remove the plastic sheathing here from the ground. And now that you have it positioned, if your vent tube will come out of here to connect to the hole down there, then you would want to plug up this opening here by using the provided plastic plug. The clamp and the bolts from the XJ fit perfectly. I have connected the positive terminal here. The battery comes pre-conditioned and pre-lubricated here with a protective agent on the terminals to prevent corrosion. You could also, after cleaning those clamps in case they're dirty, you could also apply a bit of dielectric grease. You could apply that to the clamps before connecting here. Just keep in mind the 30-second rule that is outlined in the book, as well as the clean final reconnection rule. So you don't want to accidentally touch here, move away, and then connect. You want one clean connection all the way down without breaking the contact. Don't over tighten the clamps. And at this point, we should be good to go. Red and blinking, so charging has started. It will bring the battery up to its maximum capacity. All right, so thank you for sticking with me through this. In general, it's a very simple process, but I found all those little interesting details around my situation here, and I hope I was able to provide a few tips and tricks here and there in case you ever need to change a battery or disconnect, reconnect, and so on. Thanks, folks. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.